for the Old Preston Football Club. A lot of people rattling the tins, a lot of past players present today. So there'll be a lot of spirit here. The Old Alignment Derby, the Northern Bullants looking for their first win of the season up against Carlton. As we get underway, Collins and Pittonet in the ruck, one down by the latter. Goodman tries to charge in for the football. Big tackle from Collins. Certainly going to be willing in the early stages. Velasaris has been in good form once again. Hoists it high inside the 50 for the Bullants. Target will be Jorgensen, who was shoved out. And legally, according to the umpire, the mark taken for the Blues by Phillips, who's got it inside the defensive zone for Carlton.
Yeah, the Bullants do get themselves up for this matchup. They did so last year. Andrew potentially pushed out of it on the outer side. Camporelli then picked it up quickly gave it to Phipps Parsons, and the Blues are using it nicely on the outer side to start this game. This is their first real possession of it. Phipps Parsons running onto it again. He'll trickle it inside 50. And a good exercise in gaining territory there by the Blues. They get it inside 50, boundary throw in. So if you don't know, Carlton did not have their own standalone VFL reserves side in the VFL. They were aligned with the Preston/Northern Bullants. I'll call the Northern Blues for a long time, Damien.
Certainly were. Quick kick out of the pack from Moyer. Hoists it high towards full forward. Lemmy underneath it. Tries to reach in for the mark. It's right next to the goalpost effectively, and it's through for a behind. So first score of the game going the way of the Blues. Another deep entry for them again, and the Bullants will clear. Collins has got it. Centre half back. He's been prominent already, the big ruckman. Goes short with the pass. Donegan, one of the inclusions for the Bullants today. Kicks to a 2-on-1 in favour of the Blues, no less. Out of mid-air. That was clever there by Laflang. Kicks it towards centre half forward, but Wilson's in the road. Brings it towards the middle of the ground. Donegan outnumbered. He's tackled at the end by Archie Stevens. And we've got a ball up at centre field here. Conditions a little bit gloomy, it must be said. There is a bit of rain coming potentially to Victoria. We've seen a lot of rain in South Australia in the last 24 hours. Pittonet kicks it out of the congestion. And a good mark taken for the Blues by Francis Evans.
Helicopter ball going inside 50. It was a difficult one to navigate. Stevens was spinning, as was Moyer. Did get the hand pass out, though. Bullants pressure good. John Velasaris taken to ground by Lucas Camporelli. Umpire watched it for a while. Scott Simpson, Jack Cannon and Cam Williams in charge today here. Dry day, overcast, a little bit chilly, but no rain, which is the good news. Holding, free kick. The ball is given to Pittonet for the Blues, and he'll go into the pocket. Andrews tracking it back, decided not to go for the mark. Punches it out over the line.
So, certainly a brisk day, very cool, but a good attendance here. Certainly built up over the last 10 to 15 minutes as well. It's the only game in the VFL/AFL in Victoria today as well. So, if you're in the area, certainly worth getting down here. Pittonet taps it down. Trying to get the hand pass away. Ultimately was Young to Evans. Kick towards the top of the goal square. Quick snap around the corner. It's going to be claimed as a goal. First blood going the way of the Blues. Flynn Young on the end of it. Course coming across from Werribee, and he makes an impact straight away with a major here. 1-1-7 the Blues. The Bullants yet to score.
He's going at more than a goal a game this year in the Smithies VFL across Werribee and now Carlton. Blues got a win at Windsor Hill last week against Essendon. Bullants going down to GWS. Did kick the first 2 goals of that game, though, last week.
It was an interesting one, wasn't it? I watched the replay of that game. They came out breathing fire, and we've seen that a few times from the Bullants this season where they have a good first quarter and then they peter out after quarter time.
Blues on the board first here. Pittonet going up against Collins in ruck. And it will be a Carlton clearance. Ball fed out by Dozzy. And then Camporelli going deeper inside 50 once more. Lemmy got sandwiched. Umpire said free kick. Carlton. And an easy one's just been handed over to Harry Lemmy.
He was between a couple of Bullants, wasn't he? And when you're a tall figure like that at the forward line, you're naturally going to attract a lot of defenders. Can be a very dangerous target. He should nail this from directly in front.
2 goals in a minute here coming up for Carlton. Lemmy has no trouble. A 13-point lead early stages for the Blues.
Of a project player, 18 goals coming into this game, so that's 19 for the season, 2025. trailing only Leon McMahon, who of course was taken by the Bombers in the mid-season draft. So that will add extra responsibility for Harry Levy in that forward line to be one of the main focal points, if not the main focal point, certainly as a deep forward. And he'll relish, I'm sure, that responsibility as well. Bit of a project player, still a lot of scope for improvement in the way that he goes about it. But he's a promising type just in terms of his build, and his kicking ability has improved over the journey as well. So Carlton off to a flyer, 2-1. The Bullants yet to score here at Jenna Steele Oval. Back in the middle, Pitnet wins it down. Heavy tackle applied there for the Bullants by Franks. They do win the clearance ultimately. Kick towards centre half. Or good spoil from Badar. Heavy tackle applied there for the Ants by Sherry. And a bit too heavy according to the umpire. It's going to be a free kick going the way of Badar for the Blues. Twisting and turning. Gives a hand pass off now. Darcy Hogg has it. Gives it out wide to Wilson. I'll try and transfer by hand. Good pressure, and I think there was a bit of a hold there. It's actually going to go against the Bullants. Probably could make the argument that it could have gone either way, but ultimately it's a free kick to Lucas Camporelli, who's got it on centre wing.
The left foot ball will penetrate 50. Pitnet going up, and then late to the ball as well was Moya. No mark taken, and a ball up.
I think there's extra responsibility on Moya as well, who was taken reasonably high in the draft for the Blues back in 2023.
His first goal at the top level was a highlight, and that's for sure. The Blues are in the West again at the top level later today. We'll provide some of that late team news in terms of how that impacted this game at the next break in play. High ball from Ben Camporelli. It's going to go to the pocket. No mark taken. Well defended. Andrew now back in defence. Started forward last week for the Bullants. Went with the short pass. So the holdovers for Carlton that were names for this game initially, but the emergencies for the game in the West. Will White, Lewis Young not out here today. Jackson Binns also scratched from the team sheet as well. He was not named as an emergency originally for the AFL game, but Binns not out here today either for the Blues. So a total of 13 AFL listed Carlton players out here. Hilton going back to Dang Andrew, wanting to switch over. Bullants haven't had much sustained possession so far. This is Madden. Went with the short ball that didn't go too far. It's kicked out in the direction of Sherry. No one touched it for a while, and the intent has been paid here. Interesting decision.
So Ethan Phillips going laterally back to Wilson and then back to Phillips. There you go. A bit like a hit from 1990. Going back towards centre wing. I suppose it's quite pertinent given, obviously, we had a passing of a very noted band member of the Beach Boys during the week. Ball up again. Pitnet wins it down. And we'll have another ball up. I think that's been used a few times in commentary whenever Wilson and Phillips have combined for the Blues. Ball up on centre wing. Pitnet wins it down. Hogg tries to barge his way through. Gets it out towards Ben Camporelli. Retrieves it. Probably lucky not to get pinned. Kick by Hogg inside the 50. 2-on-2 contest. Andrew going back with the flight has been busy so far. Takes a good defensive mark for the Ants. He'll go across the defensive goal face. Finds Hilton. Sizing up the options. They've struggled to penetrate beyond the centre line at times, the Bullants. From their defensive zone anyway. Kick by Hilton towards centre wing. Jorgensen goes up vertically. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to barge his way through his Schreiber. Did well. Was persistent. Gives it off to Ryan on debut. Kick in towards the 50. Trying to gather it on the bounce. It was a bit of a difficult one for Sherry. He's immediately besieged upon. Badar goes in. And a high tackle paid by the umpire. It looks like it's going the way of that player for the Blues. Badar has got it at centre half back. He can give it off to Ben Camporelli. He retreats to Billy Wilson, who drills it towards Boyer, who's got it just forward of centre.
Bullants giving away a lot of free kicks in this game. 5-1 already. And discipline hurting them. Hogg. Low one for Lemmy. Right on 50. That's where the mark was. He was obviously beyond that. So he goes to the hot spot. Pitnet puts up the Dukes. And in the same spot from where Harry Lemmy kicked the second goal of the game, you'd expect Mark Pitnet to kick the third.
Been an interesting player in terms of where he sits in the AFL lineup as well. We've seen him go in and out on the odd occasion over the last couple of years. Can add to his credentials here with a goal. Should nail it too.
He's only kicked 3 for the year in the VFL.
Oh.
That's still the case. 3 goals, 3 for Mark Pittonet in the Smithies VFL this year. 2 goals, 2 for Carlton so far.
Done all the attacking and the scoring thus far. See what the Bullants can do to try and get some respectability onto the scoreboard in some way, shape or form. Wilson goes off the ground. Hogg. Andrew goes in. Franks gets the hand pass away for the Bullants. Now they can penetrate something here. Sherry. Kick towards Jorgensen at centre half 40. Flies the big man. Couldn't take the mark. Loses his footy. Phillips tries to latch onto the loose footy, but the free kick has been paid. Bronx cheers from the crowd to Jorgensen, and he's capable from this distance range beyond the 50. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders in terms of being a goal-scoring avenue. He's kicked 19 for the season so far. Their leading goal scorer so far in 2025. From 51 metres out, Jorgensen, kick on the way, right over the goal umpire's hat. The Bullants are on the board. A good team lifter for the home side. They're one straight. Carlton a 2-2, and that was a lovely kick from beyond the arc. And a lot of players in that attacking zone love it from that distance range because the expectation within themselves probably isn't there to kick it. And they can just go about their routine of kicking through the footy, and that's exactly what Jorgensen did there.
John Valasaris did win the toss and chose to kick toward the southern end of the ground. No real wind to speak of, but that ball had no issues at all covering the distance. Maybe there's a tiny zephyr out there favouring the right of screen.
Wouldn't
Dane
be significant, would it?
It doesn't
breeze.
Doesn't feel like it is. So Dane Harvey and Rakia for the Blues, and they'll get a clearance. Moyes in the middle right now. Easy hit up here for Nash King. He's on debut, and he kicks a goal with what may well be his first kick in the VFL.
Oh, what a way to get into the fray. And a very good kick as well, and you did speak about a potential breeze. You could see that ball move if you're watching on the stream as well. It looked like it was going to fade towards the left, and it cut back in and it went straight through the middle. So good negotiation of the breeze there from King.
So he's come up through to quarter cannons. He's at Wallen in the RDFNL, I believe, the Riddle League. A 19-year-old playing his first game at this level, and he kicks a goal immediately.
Yes, he's one of a couple of debutants out there today. The other one, Luke Rhyme for the Bullants, a 21-year-old from Pakenham who played one game for Sandringham in the VFL. When I say debutant for the Bullants specifically. The second game at VFL level. But a good result for the Carlton debutant in Nash King. Back at the middle, Harvey wins it down decisively. What can the Bullants provide here? Lee Flang hoists it high inside the 50. Couple of flyers wanted. Going up originally there, Jorgensen, who applies the tackle. We've got a ball up. 45 out for the Bullants goal. They still trail it by 14 points. They did win the last time these two sides met back in round 10 last year. Jorgensen took it out of the ruck. He was stripped of the footy. Wilson's been prominent early. Hands it back. Monaghan receiving there from Lucas Camporelli. Now they clear for the defensive zone. Badar out wide. Hand pass is flung out pretty well. That was well done, actually, in the contest there from Hogg. Towards the outer side, it's going to be turned over. So the Bullants have possession through the agency here of Harrison Grace. Coming up for his first touch, going back to Andrew. Now Coughlin goes across the defensive goal face, and he finds Will Madden.
Wants to go back across. Dangerous ball. It will be marked, though. Dang Andrew gets away with it. And then it slipped right through the hands further up of left flank. Turns over. Carlton ball down the line. Defensive effort to kill it off was good.
Of course, the Blues coming into this round, 15th spot on the table. They finished in a lowly position, of course, last year. But they're only coming into this round 6 points outside the wild card spot, so there's still potential there to really build in the back end of this season.
And the Blues have struggled at this level for feels like quite some time now. I couldn't remember the last time the Blues made the finals here in the VFL. I don't think they have, Damien, since they broke away from the alignment with these Bullants. Happy to be corrected, but don't think they have.
Made a couple of grand finals under the Bullants guys, of course.
Is that going to stay in play? It does. Vader going to ground. Bullants have a loose player forward. Look at the space there for Schreiber.
Ran into the hole, didn't he, across that half-forward line. And really didn't have to lead too far either. He was really unmanned from the get-go. And the Blues defence maybe a little bit loose on that occasion, because we know he's a pretty zippy player for his size as well. He's capable for this distance range too.
He's played every game, 15 disposals on average, has kicked 4 goals for the season. Caden Schreiber, same kind of distance from where Jorgensen slotted it. He had the distance covered again, but that time not on target.
So it'll be brought back into play by Billy Wilson. Bullants trailing by 13 here at Genis Steel Oval. Hope you're enjoying it via afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app. Every game covered. Wilson to bring it back in. Drafted a couple of years ago, of course. Goes towards Lemmy on centre wing. Spall at the back, coming there for the Bullants by Green, who tried to meet the contest with a fair amount of ferocity. Tackled his Hogg, did well to get the kick out of the congestion there. Nelson tries to slap it clear. Chasing after it for the Bullants is Emery. Can't quite keep it in on the outer side, or the Kramer's Hotel side of the ground. And we'll have a throw in just forward of centre for the Blues. Billy Wilson coming off the ground. And it looks like Boyd will come on for the first time for Carlton. So a throw in on the outer side. Harvey palming it down. Hogg tries to get the hand pass away. It ends up at his lap. Grace with the tackle. And we'll have another stoppage on the outer side. So the Bullants conceded a couple of goals in pretty quick fashion, but haven't allowed the Blues to necessarily blow them away just yet. Hogg's been prominent in this contest. Comes out Emery, twisting and turning. Hoists it high towards the Jorgensen direction. Good body positioning. He was spoilt by his own teammate there coming across. Ultimately was Luke Ryan on debut. Inside the defensive 50 for the Blues, Phillips hands it off. Will combine with Vickery. He goes short, and here's Boyd, who's just come onto the ground.
The one named emergency for the AFL game that has stayed here in Victoria. The players held over again. Lewis Young and Will White. Turnover and a chance here for the Bullants. It's Green that goes toward goal, but he's missed. A little bit sloppy the last couple of minutes of Blues with their ball use. Ball's handed back to Ethan Phillips. No, he'll instead give it to Boyd for the kick in. So Jackson Binns was named today as well, Damien, but not in the side that has taken the field here for the Blues. So got 13 from the AFL list out here, including this man and Harry Charlson. Placed it well for the debutant Nash King. Can confirm that was his first kick in the Smithies VFL that went through for a goal. Going down the line, Lemmy was arriving late. It's going to be a ball up. One of the tacklers there was Riley Green, the man that missed that shot earlier. Tackled was Frankie Evans.
King joining the club. First kick, first goal. Sent a few of those over the journey at VFL and AFL level. Pitnet taps it down. Hogg. Been instrumental so far. Certainly been in the fray. Tries to get the hand pass out to Phipps. Parsons. Here's a chance now for the Bullants. Hamilton kicks it towards the corridor. Gathered on the bounce by Schreiber with a bit of ferocity. Maybe took too long to dispose of it. Just got the hand pass away in time. Andronako in there. He loses it. Heavy tackle applied by Taylor, who applies a tackle. It's a ball up. His grandfather, Alan Paris, actually played for the Bullants in their 1963 title in the VFA. So a bit of serendipity there, perhaps. Pitnet wins it down. Tackle to the turf heavily was Vickery. Here's a chance now for Francis Evans. Drills it in towards the pocket. It's a bit of an ill-directed kick. Wasn't really to the advantage of Lemmy. As a result, the Bullants can clear through the agency of Riley Green. He's got it deep in the defensive zone. In fact, it's Madden who's got it, and he goes short. And he finds Emery on the last line.
The Bullants have been keen to do this. Use it a lot inside D50. As long as they're careful, I suppose it's okay. John Luke Valasaris putting up his usual numbers this year. 26 touches on average for him. And it's careful, precise kicking right now from the Bullants. John Luke Valasaris has it again. Just his 4th touch of the game coming up. placed it well. Out of side ball mark taken by Coughlin. Collins.
Oh.
How's that kick? Oh. Still neutral right now. The bounce will eventually favour the Bullants. They get away with it. Barry, quick hand pass back. Valasaris, his kick. Just out of reach of Vickery. Boyd regaining for the Blues, and he'll turn it over. Finally, the Bullants go inside 50. Phillips tries to get in front of Jorgensen. That's a good matchup, that one, by the way. We'll look forward to that one all day long. Phillips, one of the best intercept defenders in the VFL. Against a man that's kicked now 20 goals on his year. Jorgensen does the ruck here against Pittonet. Punched it toward where the Blues were, and eventually it bounced into the hands of Ryan. Another miss, though. And will the Bullants start ruining some of these misses?
The Blues ball movement the last 5 minutes, you mentioned that, has been a little bit sloppy out of defence. The Bullants haven't really made them pay, though. They've got 1-3 on the board. Carlton a 3-2. It'll be Boyd to bring it back in. He's going to size up the options. Goes short towards the back pocket. Phillips has got it just inside the field of play. He's had to do a bit of work early. In turn, he chips it short. Mark taken by Young, who's a long kick of the footy. Remember watching him play for Werribee against Sandringham probably about a month ago. Kicked 2 long goals from about 70 metres out. Kick high towards centre wing. Pittonet the target. Couldn't take the mark. Evans with the hand pass. Slapped down by Pittonet. Flying high almost to take it was Taylor. We've got a ball up again on the outer side here at Jenna Steele Oval. The crowd building up here. As I said, it's the only VFL/AFL game in the men's in Victoria on this Sunday. The old traditional VFA slot, of course. Tackle from Nelson. Badar joins in to affect the gang tackle, and we've got another ball up. Good to see a lot of the past players on show today. Ray Shaw, of course, in attendance, one of those.
This would be the only senior men's game of footy anywhere, and Vic, obviously, Sundays being the junior day more often than not in the local competitions. Luke Ryan's taken a nice mark here. He's been okay in his Bullants debut. Jorgensen, his hand actually fell all the way through. It has to Vickery. Good mark in the end by Cooper Vickery. Into time on of the first quarter here. Boyd wasn't paid the mark, had to go back. O'Farrell sending it long down the line. Just got taken away from Taylor. Ball had stopped there. Taylor does get it back, though. Inside 50 again. Jorgensen in position A. Couldn't juggle it in. Gets the handball received now, though. Had to wait for the ball to come to him. That meant the Blues tacklers also came to him. Umpire was right there on the scene and pays the free kick to Carlton. And the ball is handed back to the long-sleeved Boyd again.
It's been prominent since he came onto the ground in that defensive zone. He goes short. Monaghan, the Irishman, takes the mark. He'll chip it short to Nelson, who had to work to get there, but he's got it at right half back, and he can go for a stroll. Couple of bounces. Nelson towards Levy, who marks it on centre wing. Good transition so far from the Blues. Billy Wilson coming back onto the ground. Meantime, kick towards centre half forward. Almost holding the mark in the front there was Dozzy. It's one of the inclusions for the Blues today, but ultimately the Bullants have the numbers at ground level, and they've got it at half forward. Good run and carry. Kick is wide of the mark there off the boot of Christopher Sherry, and he receives a few words from his teammates as well. There were a couple of options deep, and he intended to go the long bomb from outside the 50 and has missed. 1-4-10 now, the Bullants. Carlton, the 3-2-20. It'll be Wilson, who's just come back onto the ground for the Blues to bring it back in.
So the last 4 scores of this game are 4 behinds for the Bullants. Wilson, short for Charlson. Harry Charlson in his first year on the list. 13 touches on average for him. In the Smithies VFL, goes short. Young into the middle of Jenna Steele Oval. Running onto it was Stevens, Archie Stevens. Vickery with some space on the broadcast wing. Just places it well. There's multiple Blues that could have marked it. Lemmy left it for Evans.
A good mark going back with the flight, wasn't it? There weren't too many players around him, but he did well to keep his eye on the footy. It looks like he's going to go around the corner here with the snapshot. Not a significant amount of breeze at the ground today. He's going to try and curl it in.
Evans had a good day in front of goal against Essendon last week. He's kicked one here. That is really going to hurt the Bullants, because the Bullants were peppering for a sustained period of time and only had 4 behinds to show for it. The Blues get 1 inside 50 and get 6 points.
I think just the crisp nature, I know sometimes they've made errors coming out of defence, the Blues. It's usually of their own doing, but when they get it right, their transition is very, very difficult to stop when they go coast to coast, and they do it reasonably swiftly, whereas I think with the Bullants at times they've really had to battle to gain territory when they've come out of defence by comparison. As you said, they've been a bit more efficient on the scoreboard when they've had their opportunities, the Blues. 4-2 to 1-4. And a smattering of contributions as well as far as the goals are concerned so far. Back at the middle. On the cusp of quarter time here. Pitnet wins it down against Jorgensen, who's now in the ruck. Hogg's been good so far. He's tackled heavily by Goodman. We'll have a secondary ball up at the middle. See Jean-Luc Velasaris in the foreground, averaging 26 possessions per game so far this season. Pitnet just dumps Jorgensen contemptuously and kicks it high inside the 50. Harvey the target, couldn't quite take it. Hand pass comes out from Hilton. Umpire blows the whistle. There's a free kick paid for a hold. It's going to go the way of the Bullants. So they absorb the pressure for the moment. Will be Hilton to take it. He's got it deep in defence. He goes laterally to Andrew. It's been a couple of good moments. A couple of marks inside defensive 50 so far. But the Blues have manned up well. And as I spoke about, it's a bit more of a battle for the Bullants to clear outside their defensive 50. Hilton's got it at right half back.
They seem really turnover reverse here to Bullants, and that's okay. Salzburger. Leaf Lang. Presenting towards half forward was Harry Grace, and he took a nice mark. Wants to go central now. The problem was Luke Ryan was caught in behind. Blues have numbers front side here, and they will repel back out. Duffy held onto it for a little while before eventually releasing toward Vickery. He goes toward the middle of the ground. Ball punched up by Green. Bullants want to drive inside 50. They will. It's Rookbarry, but there's a marker in the goal square. It's another intercept mark for Phillips. He'll go wide. And the Blues out of danger. Right now we're looking at Lucas Camporelli.
He's got it at right half back. Boyd moves up the ground, gives a hand pass off to Charlson. Slight fumble, but regains it. He drills it towards half forward, but in the road. Good mark taken by Lee Flang, who's had a couple of good moments today. Kick towards Jorgensen. Takes the mark on the chest. He's capable from here. 60 metres out. Goes towards Schreiber. It's a 1-on-3. The Blues just had too many numbers around the footy. Phillips gives a hand pass off to Duffy, and they're able to be content. Wilson takes the mark at right half back. He'll go short to Charlson, methodically as always. Charlson having a reasonable amount of the footy so far as well. He's happy to hold things up. Call to play on. Charlson hoists it high towards centre wing. Harvey the target. He flies. Couldn't take the mark. Spills out the back. Chance for Salzburger. Still, they have to concede ground here. Andrew will be the target. Spoil comes in. Picked up by Madden. He's tackled by Evans. And we'll have a ball up as the siren sounds for quarter time. And the Blues hold sway in the early stages. They've taken their opportunities. The Bullants after quarter time. So the test will be on them here as we get underway in the second term. Pitnet wins it down. Close checking Velasaris. Gets a kick away just fairly. Back to Velasaris. Blues have the numbers. Camporelli a slight fumble. It's of the Bem variety. Does well to get it out to Boyd, who spirals it inside the 50. Harvey in front. Good grab with the juggle. Dane Harvey at centre half forward, getting to the front spot there on Andrew. They could line up and will fancy his chances here, potentially from beyond the arc. It's the value of playing in front position, isn't it, Adam? And he did just that out of the centre scrimmage. So Harvey is often a secondary ruck for the Blues and can play down forward as well, adding that flexibility. Kick the Blues 5th of the game. He ambles in from 55 metres out. Penetrating kick is through the centre. Great kick from Harvey, and the Blues off to the perfect start in the second term. What a way to get your first. There's a lovely kick from long range. Wasn't entirely through the middle, but I mean from long range, as long as you get it through the big sticks, that's the main thing, and it looked very, very good off the boot. And all of a sudden, the red alert signs are already there, I think, for the Bullants. It's only a 22-point margin, but the Blues have been very efficient when going forward and winning the clearances in particular.
They had two key issues in the first quarter. That run where they kicked 4 consecutive behinds. Some of those probably should have gone through, and they were giving away a lot of free kicks as well in the first quarter. So they've shot themselves in the foot here, the Bullants. That'll be recalled. 22-point ball game.
I've executed a few of those over the journey. They've gone back over the head.
I didn't know you once umpired. I didn't know that.
Not very good with the bounce.
Okay, here we go again. Umpire throwing it up this time. Pitnet doing his own roving. Moya going out wide. Lucas Camporelli picks up the bouncing ball, placing it in front of Stevens. Under pressure, Stevens needing to hand pass back. Blues will go inside 50 eventually. Pitnet, he's done it again. He's gone forward. It's touched on the way through. On the line, it's a goal.
Oh.
The skipper, Luke Nelson. And a goal that really Nelson will get credit for it, but it belongs to Mark Pitnet. He did it out of the middle, streamed forward and got the goal assist.
And you do have to give credit to Nelson as well to get his ball to boot very, very quickly. The point post wasn't far away. The goal post was right in his face. And he had pressure coming from behind as well. So the ball to boot movement was very, very swift. And it was good improvisation. But as you said, Pitnet really did set that one up, centering the kick inside towards the top of the goal square. And that's the value he produces. Not only is he good in the ruck, he can work up forward, take the odd mark inside 50, and also provide a bit of a linkage. So back in the middle, Carlton now by 28 points. Signs not looking good for the Bullants early in this second term, and Pitnet takes it out of the ruck contemptuously. Bangs it on the boot. It tumbles towards centre half forward. Bypasses Stevens, who applies a heavy tackle. The Bullants under siege. Andronako gives it out. High kick from Green towards the centre square. There was a heavy collision, but standing up in the mire there was Badar, and he's holding his left shoulder. A little bit of pain. So he might have to be assessed. He still wants to take his kick all the same. And he goes short. And he's going to come off the ground. Mark taken by Harry O'Farrell as Badar is going to be assessed. Certainly in a bit of pain. Kick by O'Farrell inside the 50. How about that? Levy betwixt between two Bullants. Uses his big tree trunk-like arms to take the mark. Well, he was pretty much the meat in the sandwich there, Adam, and he somehow plucked it as there were a sea of hands there. And this will test him. Pretty acute angle from a fair distance as well, but the Blues are on fire to start this second term. Harry Levy still fancy his chances. He's already on the scoreboard with 1 goal. Can he make it 2 here from 48 metres out? It's sailing towards the goal face. That's to the right. And just a minor score. 6-3 the Blues. The Bullants are 1-4. And already danger signs for the home side.
I've seen a fair bit of Harry Lemmy this year, Damien, and look, we know why. It's hard for a key forward like him to get into the AFL lineup. I don't need to tell you that, Damien. I know that. But he has been very, very good off late. And the signs are that he could be nearly ready, I think, just based on what I've seen lately. He won't be involved in this marking contest.
Oh.
Instead, it's Evans who flies. Takes a good grab. Not quite specky territory, but it was pretty good.
Well, he got the ride a little bit, didn't he? And he did well to hold the mark in the one motion. That was a fantastic grab. The ball coming in with a fair amount of ferocity as well. Looks like he's going to go around the corner here, but they're just peppering at the moment, the Blues. That was a great grab.
He's looking to become Carlton's first multiple goal kicker on the ground is Frankie Evans. He's still waiting. So 6 individual goal kickers for the Blues so far. Margin's out to 30. They've started this second term hot.
Emery to bring it back in for the Bullants. And they break themselves out of the quagmire here. Goes towards right half back. 2-on-1 taken by Lucas Camporelli. Just gets the kick away in time. Evans would be the target, but going back with the flight to grab it there for the Bullants was Hilton, the boundary line. Wins out, however. There'll be a throw in just outside the attacking 50 for Carlton. They've done well to lock it inside their forward half for much of the first 6.5 minutes of this term. They've really dominated the territory battle so far. in quarter number 2. Pitnet double palms it down. Franks leaves it behind for Lee Flang, who's just forced to smash it on the boot towards centre wing, hoisting it high. Bouncing footy was a bit fickle for a couple of players, and it goes over the line. We'll have a throw in just forward of centre wing for Carlton. As we said, the Bullants like to get themselves up for this game. They won last time these two sides met in round 10 last year by 12 points. Jorgensen booting 3 goals in that game. Liam McMahon booted 3 for the Blues in that contest. Now in Essendon colours, of course. Moyer getting his hands on the footy. Stevens, they're combining reasonably well. Here's a chance for Young. He's good from this distance range. It's a tumbler towards full forward. Caught behind there was Phipps Parsons. He applies the tackle and holding the ball. So straight away, the Blues applying the full pressure in this second term. And they've got another opportunity, this time through Phipps Parsons. He'll be kicking from probably about 20 metres out on a slide angle. Well, it's been relentless so far. The Blues just peppering and peppering with repeat inside 50 entries. This is a more than gettable shot. Directly in front, Phipps Parsons. Oh, geez, hooked it and has missed. So they've had a few gettable opportunities of late. The Blues really should have nailed the last couple of opportunities. It's another minor score. Andrew to bring it back in. He finds Emery at left half back.
And we saw a lot of this in the first quarter from the Bullants. There's no easy ways out. That kick might have been partially touched off the boot. The boundary line eventually is going to win out. A lot of sideways, backward stuff inside the back half from the Bullants. Not often looking for the quick escape out of D50. Clearly, they've identified perhaps that's an issue with them turning the ball over in the back half, and they don't want to be caught out by it. Kick going down the line. John Valisaris a bit quiet today by his usual standards. Hogg comes in to steal it for the Blues all the way back to Boyd. He goes further back. And right now we're looking at Lucas Camporelli. Behind the circles here, Camporelli just looping one over the top. By the way, Billy Wilson's a leading ball getter on the ground with 10 so far today for the Blues. We go long inside 50. Jorgensen's playing the role of defender right now. Bounces into his hands. Evans tackles him. Did it go over the line? I think it did. So it'll be a boundary throw in.
Does that say a lot, the fact that Jorgensen's down there in defence, given he's their mainstay in the forward line? And if the Bullants do get it forward of centre, who do they have to kick to? It's an interesting one. Throw in. Pitnet takes it out of the ruck, the big man. Gives a hand pass off to Hogg. He's stripped to the footy. Stevens goes in hard. Applies the tackle, and we've got holding the ball called again. Well, it's been relentless, this pressure. No doubt about that. Lee Flang was caught with the footy. And Archie Stevens to line up. Another opportunity for the Blues. They've had a few gettable ones that have gone begging in the last few minutes. He can line up here from about 43 metres out. Slightly better than a 45-degree angle. Darcy Hogg prominent again. He's had about 8 touches so far, and his tackling pressure's been pretty good as well. He set the tempo from the word go. Meantime, Stevens from 43 metres out. He makes no mistake. The Blues add another, and the avalanche continues at Genis Steel Oval. Well, I hate to say it, but the signs are looking very, very bleak for the Bullants at the moment. Just with the way that Carlton have just maintained possession. It's been inside their forward half, really, for the last 10 and a half minutes.
It's 4 goals, 3 unanswered now for the Blues.
Well, the only way they're going to get it out is if they win the centre clearance here, because they're really struggling to exit their defensive 50 in this second term. They did it in a methodical manner in the first term where they chipped the ball around, but just struggling to get their hands on the footy.
19 hit-outs to 4 Carlton's way, and then 16 clearances to 10 Carlton's way. The stoppage numbers so far. First hand on it in the ruck was Harvey. Jorgensen in the ruck right now for the Bullants. They might get a clearance here. They will. It's Hilton sending it out wide, but he's set Schreiber the task. And Boyd was there to apply some pressure for the Blues. It bounces over the fence.
I mentioned that the last time these two sides met, the Bullants beat Carlton on this ground. When they met here in 2022, I think from memory the Bullants were leading at three-quarter time, and Tom Wilson, who was playing for them that day, the nuggety little man, was probably the best player on the ground, even though they lost.
Blues will get the clearing ball here. Careful kick by Dozzy. That one is going to be difficult. Stretching for it was Stevens. No mark taken. Umpire sees high contact. Free kick, Carlton. A lot of free kicks being given away by the Bullants today. This is Ben Camporelli. Been picking up an average of 22 touches a game this year in the Smithies VFL. Camporelli. Another behind. So the margin, 37 points here. Still not yet halfway into the second quarter. Jorgensen kicked it to an area where there were more Blues than Bullants. And the numbers won out. It's Dane Harvey. Right football, probably slightly mishit it, but it does carry a fair way. I wonder if there is a fair bit more breeze out there than what we think, Damien, from our vantage point. A lot of balls are carrying as they are kicked toward the right of screen. Right now we're looking at Kane Emery.
He's got it inside the defensive zone. They've been struggling to break out of that region for much of the quarter. He's going to have to retreat again across this defensive goal line. Hilton has got the arms out. The body language says it all. Not too many options to kick to. He's forced to go well and truly across the defensive goal face, and Emery takes it just inside the field of play. Chips it short to Andronako. They're flirting with danger at the moment, the Northern Bullants. They trail by 38. Under siege. Andronako goes to the corridor. Kick needs to be precise, and it was in the end. Good mark taken by Taylor. And away he goes through the centre. Poor kick. Straight down the throat of O'Farrell. In the middle of the ground. He's got a bevy of options across half forward. He's going to go with the switch here. I suppose why not? Mark taken here for the Blues by Duffy, who goes deep and a little bit too wide for Lemmy. He's gone out on the full. The Bullants have another chance to repel. This is Andrew who's got it now on the last line of defence. This is a dangerous kick. Moyer did well to intercept. Well done, Ashton Moyer. Couldn't quite keep it in. Boundary umpire was on the spot, so we'll have a throw in deep inside the forward zone again for the Blues. They lead it by 38 points.
Wasn't far off coming off there for Ashton Moyer. Boundary throw in. Inside 50 for Carlton, leading comfortably. Valasaris. It's down into space again. The Blues have so many numbers. Every time the Bullants kick it back out of D50, Charleston takes the mark here. Boyd. It's like the defensive structures. Well, for one thing, they're easy to maintain for the Blues, but it's like they've got an extra man out there. Billy Wilson is the leading ball getter on the ground today. That was disposal number 11. Going inside 50, whistle's gone, and I think a mark has been paid there. Lemmy was late, but enough control on it for Jaden Collins. His kick going in the direction of Grace. And that ball doesn't seem to have crossed, and the Bullants player tried to make sure that it did cross, and a throw-in is called for.
Schreiber getting across there to ensure that it went over. And you know when a ball hasn't been on one side of the ground for a long time, when there's about probably 40 to 50 pigeons just flailing about, and they haven't been disturbed on the other side of the ground. Throw in. They might be disturbed now because Collins wins it out of the ruck, spirals it towards centre wing. A hard one to mark. Duffy stripped to the footy. Well done from Schreiber to apply the pressure. Blues have the numbers. Duffy back. They work it out. Charleston from O'Farrell, Boyd, and now Vickery. Left foot kick towards half forward. It's a bit of a floater. Emery can't quite keep it in, and neither can Madden. We'll have a throw in again, back at the same spot we started in that passage. About 53 metres out from the Blues goal. The Pigeons have retreated.
No, they've just moved over. They're now on the far wing on the half-back flank.
Feel like Gus Gould at the moment. Throw in. Harvey in the ruck for the Blues. Collins maybe slightly won that one. Evans with the hand pass back to Monahan. Slight fumble. Wilson the backup. Does well. Arches the back and breaks the tackle. Kick towards full forward. Where's Moyer? Has it spoiled away there by Andrew. Still alive ball. Madden happy to concede a behind. So the margin now out to 39 here at Jenna Steele Oval. It's all Carlton at the moment here. Kind of a pretty good crowd at Preston.
Yeah, it is good. Obviously, the Blues AFL side playing later tonight. Over in the west. All at ground level right now. Charleston looking for a handball outlet. Trying to pluck it from the air was Josh Hamilton. And now looking for a way through is Fairley. Went with the handball option. Kick down the line's good. Hilton with the ball. And a flock of pigeons now have to look for safe harbour. Although, again, we're seeing it again, Damien. The Bullants are not going direct. It's sideways footy once more. Emery. Kick down the line. That's okay.
Mark Thompson always used to say a good sign of the way things are going is when a side is forced to retreat back or forced out wide and wide and wide with their transition. Yep,
they've clearly been spooked by Carlton's marking ability further up the ground on turnover. Andrew going a little longer. Again, 2-on-1. Charleston late, but the kick was well placed. So a good mark in the end for Ryan. He played one solitary game for the Zebras last year. First game for the Bullants. Fairly. They're not even looking long right now. Valasaris. Was not interested. You could see there, Damien, he was not even looking ahead. His head was only looking inboard. Andrew. Sideways ball is okay for Madden. He had no choice but to go further along. He did. And then Phillips, that might be a key reason why they don't want to go forward easily, because Phillips can intercept Mark at will. Running out of real estate in the end was left laying. It's going to be a boundary throw-in. It's forward of centre for the Bullants.
Well, they were going zigzag like a polygraph machine, weren't they? Back and forth, but they managed to get it forward of centre. Can they take advantage of this foray? Pitnet almost double palmed it down. Stevens may have been held without it, though. Free kick, Dozzy. Good evasion, good dexterity. Gets the hand pass off. Badar. Quick hands to Camporelli. Now off to Stevens. Drills it inside the 50. Levy the target. Caught behind on this occasion. Numbers with the Bullants. Emery with a bounce. Drills it towards centre wing, but again, there's about 4 Carlton players in the area. He goes straight to that area, and Dozzy takes the mark. He's going to retreat, concede ground to Monaghan. The Irishman lopes away. Look at this, just no pressure at all. Duffy will take the mark here. Just have so much time to size up the options. He got it from Phillips originally, and now Dozzy takes the mark. On centre wing, Wilson. Well, they've got the 39-point advantage on the scoreboard, the Blues. They don't mind this at all. Monaghan. Bullants have really stacked the numbers inside their defensive zone. Hand pass to Wilson. Quick give is okay. Charleston streams forward from the 50. Sets sail for goal. Misses to the left. Just a minor score. Margin now at 40 points. It's 7-8 to 1-4 here at Jenna Steele Oval.
Right, so it didn't come off, but the Bullants were allowing those extra numbers right at the back for Carlton. And the way to expose that, if you're Carlton, I suppose, is just to try and set up a shot at goal from long range. It didn't go through. The Bullants had all their numbers pushed back inside D50, and it nearly cost them anyway. There's no answers right now for the Bullants. Phillips in the middle of Jenna Steele Oval. That could be a turnover. Can they go? Andronako dropped it though and left it behind. Luckily a teammate was there. Ryan going on to the left. Placed it well. Nice mark taken by Hamilton. They stream back inside 50. Good build up this one for the Bullants. Franks giving it off by hand. Fairly. He'll go to the pocket. And interesting jump at the ball there. Not quite coming off Andronako. But at least they've got it inside 50.
I suppose that's what they were aiming for. I think they were waiting for an error of some kind or just to apply enough pressure so that the Blues would make an error and there was enough space to work with inside their forward half from a Bullants point of view. Throw in. Pitnet almost wins it down. Fairly. They're appealing for insufficient intent out of the tap out. I don't think they're going to get it. It's too far away really from the boundary line. It'll be Pitnet up against Harrison Grace, who I guess is a secondary ruck for the Northern Bullants. Seen Jorgensen sometimes contest in that respect as well. Throw in. Pitnet wins it down. Carlton with a sea of numbers here. Vickery hacks it on the boot. Left foot kick towards Levy on centre wing. And good outstretched mark. He slides to take it just inside the line. Harry Levy goes further down the line as well. Kick was pretty well weighted in that situation. I think going to have to go back over the mark here. Was well taken all the same by the debutant, Nash King. He's a good running type of player. Kicked a goal with his first kick for the Blues earlier today. Likes to see himself as a bit of an inside midfielder and develop in that area as well. Charlson chips it inside the 50. That's just loose checking, really. And the mark's taken too easily in the end by Ben Camporelli. He can go back. He filled in the hole there just inside the attacking 50. It's a tough shot, but certainly capable from this distance range. It's been just slightly over 30 years since his father Scott debuted at AFL level for the Blues. Camporelli hooks that one to the left and just a minor score. I think from memory he made his debut, Adam, in round 1 of 1995 in front of just under 90,000 against Collingwood at the MCG.
Went on to play in the flag.
Yep.
30 years, can you believe it? Since we saw the Blues hold up that Premiership Cup. I know you can't believe it, Damien.
Well, I didn't. Well, I was only months old at the time.
The fact that it hasn't happened since. Keep the faith, Blues fans. You never know.
I think it's particularly difficult for the Gen Z and Gen Y Carlton fans who were born from probably the mid-90s onwards, because they haven't seen any of the success from a Carlton point of view, but they've seen every single wooden spoon, and there have been a few of them in the last 25 years.
Well, Gen Xers and Boomers are just wondering what the hell has happened. Going from winning flags for fun to just not featuring at all. Holding the ball, free kick going the Blues' way. Claims by Moya. Carlton have kicked 3 goals, 7, if you can believe it, in this second quarter. A lot of missed shots in this part of the ground after the Bullants kicked 1-4 in the first quarter. Here's Lemmy. Had to get out the handball because he was under pressure. Thought about a shot for a moment. Knew that wasn't going to happen, though. To change the decision to handball. Bullants did win it back. Ball dropped on the outer side. Tackled was Donegan. Late handball out. They do retain possession, though. Gets away from Donegan. Boyd looking to crash through. Missed Camporelli by hand. Ball's ended up back with Leflang. He went with the dinky one down the line on the outer side. It's not a great stand in this one right now. A bit sloppy. John Valasaris looking to clean things up a bit. Caleb Franks. Valasaris is going to shoot up the stat sheet. This is now number 14 for him. Leflang.
He's had a bit more of the footy in this second term, hasn't he, Valasaris, but mainly in the defensive half.
Billy Wilson still the leading ball getter with 14. Jordan Boyd has 13. Mark Pitnet has 10 in this game. And that's to go with 20 hit-outs. Complete domination in the ruck for the Blues, and that has been of the many issues the Bullants do have. Ruck has been something they've really struggled with this year. The hit-out numbers not good for the Bullants across the year. Lucas Camporelli initially fumbling, did well on the recovery, actually showed some skill there in cleaning up the error. Bullants ball out of sight, trying to bounce off opponents is Taylor. They're using it by hand here. Little left foot kick going into the middle of Jenna Steele Oval. Clean bowls a few. Charlson look away handball, that was good. It's Bader going up towards half forward. Evans thought he had an opening centrally, decided to go back the other way. Little kick goes out wide. Phipps Parsons saw something he liked in the square. Took late contact as well, marked by Dane Harvey.
There's a bit of an indiscriminate slide as well. Luckily, Phipps Parsons doesn't seem to be damaged by it in any way, but a good mark from Harvey, just looming forward.
To make it a 47-point lead. That goal took a long time to come for the Blues. It's their first goal in 16 minutes of play, 16 minutes of domination.
Certainly from a territory point of view, and certainly Harvey would be very happy with that result. He's had a couple of opportunities inside that forward 50. He's roamed forward as a deep forward option as well. He was all on his own. Just a breakdown in defence there for the Bullants to leave him pretty much 20 metres in the clear. Just the weight of domination, weight of numbers streaming forward for the Blues, proving to be evident in this game. So Velasaris is a leader on the ground with 16 disposals for the Bullants in it appears to be a bit of a difficult cause for them. Billy Wilson has 14 touches for the Blues. He's done a bit of the kicking out duties, of course. And Jordan Boyd likewise with 14. So back in the middle, margin currently at 47, 8-9 to 1-4. Can the Bullants take something out of this wreckage? One down by Pitnet. Hogg goes in hard for the footy. Here's Franks. Good turn from Emery. Had to do it a couple of times, but it's turned over. Moyer off to Hogg from 48 metres out. Set sail for home. He's put it through. Darcy Hogg, just reward for his efforts. He's been on the ball from the get-go in more ways than one. And he gets on the scoreboard here with a major. We speak about links to 1995. Of course, Matthew Hogg was part of that 1995 Premiership team as well. 30 years on, Darcy Hogg getting on the scoreboard here at VFL level. 9-9 to 1-4. And I think he's been one of the better players for the Blues in many respects because his endeavour has really stood out playing on the ball today. He's been in and under. It's not just the possessions that count, it's the efforts in and under in the contest as well.
Yeah, he is good in front of goal. He is Darcy Hogg. Not surprised to see him slot one like that. Recall 53-point ball game here around the grounds today. Damien Watson. Ooh. What has happened to GWS in the Smithies VFL? They were flying to start this year. You and I called them undefeated at GMHBA, didn't we, against Geelong, and I think they won that game as well. The Giants will go with their score today in a minute. May as well go now. That's a halftime siren. So Brisbane have absolutely demolished the Giants around the grounds in the other Smithies VFL game. 24-15, 159 to 11-8-74. That is an 85-point win for Brisbane over GWS around the grounds. Halftime here.
So what can the Bullants muster in this second half? Pitnet wins it down, but the clearance is won ultimately by Donegan inside the 50 for the Bullants, but again, unable to find a target, although there was a push out, and Riley Green will be the beneficiary. So an early start here and an early goal will surely be a benefit to the Bullants, who played a bit of tentative football, it must be said, in the second term. Really struggled to move the ball with force throughout the second quarter. Could they start off with a goal here in this third term? Green directly in front, 43 metres out, and he's put it through. They've got their second. Ideal start to the second half for the Bullants. A first goal for Riley Green, and they ably get around him. It was a good kick off the boot as well. I'm sure there would have been a few words at half-time, and they've been sprung into action early. That's an ideal start. Perhaps a bit of good fortune, but the free kick was certainly earned. Green getting in the right spot underneath the footy. And the Bullants start the second half with a bit of verve. They're 2-4, Carlton and 9-9.
First goal since Jorgensen put one through in the first quarter at the 11-minute mark for the Bullants. They get a bye next week in the Smithies VFL. Carlton will take on North Melbourne at Icon Park in round 13. Pitnet in ruck against Collins. It trickles along. We'll see a ball up still inside the square.
Bit more fight in the body language from the Bullants early in this third term as well. Schreiber again with that tackle.
Pitnet grabbing it himself. Had it for a fair while, then hand passed it to himself, and yep, that's holding the ball, and that's fair. Ball given back to Schreiber. Can the Bullants get a couple in a row here? Schreiber's kick going inside 50, all the way through to Charleston unabated. He gets the relieving mark, and this man had a lot of it in the first half, Wilson. Disposal number 15 coming up him. He's been the Blues' leading ball getter for nearly the entirety of the game. Still behind John Luke Velasaris overall on 16. Make that 17. Velasaris got put down after the kick as well, after he gave it to Fairley. Umpire might have paid the advantage.
Yep.
And Phillips takes another intercept mark on the last line of defence. He does it so often. This is Boyd now.
It's got to lower their eyes here, the Bullants. Their delivery inside the 50 needs to improve. A bit more direct, a bit more precise with their kicking. That certainly costed them at various stages. This is O'Farrell with a high kick. Lemmy the target. It's a fist in from behind, looking for Boyd. Donegan takes it on the bounce, looking for Schreiber. Feeds it back. Donegan loops it over the top. Goodman's got it. Feeds it back to Velasaris. They're just sharing it around at the moment here. The Northern Bullants. It's a good pass, and Frank's on the end of it. Takes the mark. It was a bullet-like pass which hit him on the chest from Fairley, who accepts the high fives. And Franks can line up for the Bullants second within a couple of minutes. They've come out breathing a bit of fire. Certainly a gettable shot. 45-degree angle. 45 metres out. Kick on the way from Franks. Drifting towards the goal face, and it's going to be rushed through. Maybe just slightly ajar there for Sherry, who just couldn't quite get the boot to ball in time off the ground. It's a minor score, but the Bullants, they've won the territory battle so far in this third term. They're 2-5, Carlton 9-9.
Dame, I hope you don't mind. I might just take the listening audience inside our halftime conversations. I'll wait for the next stoppage. But we were talking about the way the Bullants were attacking the game. Are we seeing a bit of a response in that front? Ben Camporelli going down the line. Well shrugged off there by Dozzy. Had Andrew all over him. Hogg never really had a chance. Dozzy goes in again, but he's pounced on. So we discussed it. The Bullants were just mucking around a lot with the ball, not really taking on the game. Have they decided to just reverse that here in the third quarter and just try to just go after it? Really nothing to lose for them. The margin was already 53 at half-time. I don't know, that's just how I would feel myself, Damien. Just go for it.
Well, I've got a big crowd here today.
Yeah.
So
no real use, just being careful and playing that chipping sideways game. Non-controlling umpire saw high contact here. Blues free kick. Hogg giving it off quickly. Dozzy in trouble early. Pit net. Wilson's having a good day. A couple of side steps, and that will be holding the ball. No way past Schreiber.
He's been impressive so far in this quarter, Schreiber. You can tell by his body language he's keen to make a bit of an impact. Couple of tackles which have been very effectual for his side. Schreiber at centre half back. Looks towards a 2-on-1. In from the side, Collins got the fist in. Spills to ground. Carlton have numbers. Dozzy off to Charleston. At centre field. Kick towards centre half forward. Looking for Young. Well done there. Getting the tap in was Coughlin. Still Coughlin. Good look away. Hand pass. Looking for Donegan. Bypassed him. Wilson got it in a bit of a tangle. Got the hand pass back to Charleston. And now it's Boyd. We'll chip it out wide towards centre wing. And the Blues steady things down. This is their mantra. Mark taken by Vickery. Vickery thumps it long, looks in the Young direction, flew high, couldn't take it. Moyer at the base of the pack, gets a little kick towards full forward. Charging through was Evans. Can he get boot to ball off the ground? He tried. It's still in play. Lemmy tries to keep it in. Eventually it rolls through for a minor score for the Blues. They're 9-10, the Bullants 2-5.
The first kick in was a little quicker. Collins has to hold up late. Looking in all directions for the next option. No 15 for Madden. That most definitely did go 15 for Liam Taylor. So you factor that in as well, Damien. The bye next week for the Bullants, so get the extra rest. Blues don't have that luxury. Coughlin. Back to Madden. Ball going down the line now. Left wing just had a difficult task there with Vickery right on him. And the boundary line was there the whole time. Boundary throw in. 9-9 to 2-5 here.
Again, I'm not part of the coaching staff and a bit of an armchair expert, I guess, but you want to see a little bit more dare, don't you, from the Bullants? I mean, They've tried to conserve and chip the ball around. They've ended up with a boundary throw-in after all of that.
The Blues, they are a good marking side. A lot of tools out there as well. Obviously, 13 AFL-listed bodies out there with the extra conditioning and athleticism perhaps compared to the VFL-listed guys. They are attacking here. The quick handball released by Ryan. Jorgensen one out, an extra Blue coming back late. Phillips did get a hand on it. Jorgensen taken down by Camporelli. Lucas did get his chance at AFL level early this year. Ben is yet to debut among the Camporelli boys. Kick smothered off the boot of Lucas Camporelli. Franks flashed at one, hit the behind post. And we saw that in the first quarter when they would get sustained ball inside 50. Damien, they missed those 4 shots in a row. And let those opportunities go. This game could look a little different had some of those gone through.
No doubt about that. Here's Velasaris on the attacking 50. Tries to drill it, intercepted by Hogg, called to play on, hands it off to Boyd, and now Wilson. They're composed under pressure, these Blues defenders. Chips it out wide. Coming out is Monaghan, the Irishman, who's got it at right half back. Called to move it on, now he has to retreat. O'Farrell kicked the winning goal for the Blues against the Cats in the Smithies VFL game earlier this year. He's got it deep in defence. Oh, well done from Franks. There's a bit of desperation on the mark. Forced a bit of a smother, and that is a good team lifter for his side because he never really gave up, even though the percentages weren't in his favour, and forces a throw-in. So we've seen a bit more dare. Certainly the body language is there for the Bullants so far in this quarter. Just shows maybe what a half-time rile-up could do. Throw in. Pitnet takes it out of the ruck, gives it to Dozzy via hand. It's intercepted. Velasaris is good from here. 55 metres out. Set sail for home. Hits the post. Wasn't a bad effort from beyond the arc. Minus score for the Bullants. Accuracy certainly hasn't been their friend today. They're 2-6. Carlton 9-10.
Jordan Boyd, the one emergency for the AFL game that has stayed here. Monaghan. One of quite a few Monaghan who are multi-year players for the Blues yet to get a look at the top level. This is his second year. Left lang as the Bullants look to take advantage of the turnover. Jorgensen will mark. Kicked one from further out than this in the first quarter, but that was over on the other side of that 50. Perhaps a little less angle that time as well. He's tucked up against the fence here just about.
Well, you can take the initiative here. He's certainly capable. He's got good distance with his kicks.
And this will be for consecutive goals for the Bullants. How has he placed it? Too far to the right.
2-7 now for the Northern Bullants. They've had some gettable opportunities as well. Could have easily been 7-2. Boyd chips it in. Wilson. Big accumulator today. Carlton's leading ball winner on the ground so far. By an extra 10 metres, it's a bit of a floater off the boot. Might work out okay for the Blues. Good pressure applied on King. Here's a chance now for Hamilton. Streams inside the 50. Kick towards Jorgensen. He was shoved out of it. Is he going to get the free? No, it was very good body work at the end. Good mark taken there by O'Farrell, who goes short. It was good body work as well by O'Farrell. Kick coming down the line from Lucas Camporelli. Has to go back in and retrieve it. Sea of players, a multitude of them over the top. Look at Velasaris trying to extricate it out. He can't quite. They've got a ball up. 45 out for the Bullants goal. At the very least, Adam, they've maintained possession inside their forward half for a fair chunk of the quarter so far.
Camporelli will rove the tap nicely. Hand pass off, but Boyd under pressure. It was Nelson, in fact. Good tackle was laid there by Coughlin. It trickles along. Who's going to get first hands on it? Coughlin there again. It's a hard ball to pick up. Goodman's over the top of it, but it's going to be a ball up. Being caught out by Nelson and Boyd. Both have a 7 on their jumper number and both in the long sleeves. Apologies for that. Ball thrown up. Pitnet grabbing it himself. He's done that a lot today. He's having quite an easy day in ruck, it must be said. Handball out in the direction of Fairley, but he was tackled quickly. A little kick on the ball from Salzburger. It did clean bowl of Carlton and go all the way through for Green to perhaps try to get a shot at goal, and it's going to miss. So they keep on peppering. They keep on peppering. And to the Blues' credit, none of these shots are being made easy for the Bullants, so a lot of these shots that they're missing are pressured.
Certainly in play. Wilson to bring it back in. Again, buys another 20 metres and goes towards the outer side. Pitnet the target, trying to accentuate the contact. Did well to follow up. Gets the hand pass away. On a hand looking for Nelson. It's turned over. Could be a chance for the Bullants here. Kick towards Velasaris, who tries to grab it. Good ball handling skills. Evades the tackle initially. Gives it off. Chance now for Green. Slings a hand pass, but it was directionless in the end. Camporelli of the Lucas variety gets a hand pass away. O'Farrell under pressure. Evans, they're just so composed, Carlton, when they move it out of defence. Kick down the line by Lucas. Camporelli's a good one, and he finds Harvey. He's had his moments in this game. The big man's got it at left half back. Thought about retreating inside the defensive 50. He's going to go high and long down the line for Carlton. Lemmy the target in the one-on-one. Good body work. Moyer's all on his own at half forward. He's going to go short to Hogg. Betwixt between two Bullants, takes the mark. He's got a couple of options. Goes towards the outer side. And the mark is held in the end. Quick kick by Vickery is okay. And he chips it to King. And the debutant could go back and shoot for his second. They worked it carefully there, Carlton, very laterally. They could have easily blazed away, and Moyer was, in fairness, in the clear inside that 450. But they were pretty careful in lowering the eyes. And Nash King on debut, a chance for his second. The 19-year-old from Wallet. 45 metres out. Looks online as it got the carry. Not quite. Andrew rushing it through for a behind. So 9-11 playing 2-8 here at Geneseo Oval. And it'll be Coughlin to bring it back in for the Ants.
Some leads on offer toward the railway side of the ground. O'Farrell gets a late hand in before Donegan could mark it. Schreiber was a pressured ball out. Good physicality shown all around there.
Spoke about the tentativeness of the Bullants. I think just that extra motivation with a past player's day today. Want a bit more dare in their play. Give them a bit of a reward for turning up and rattling the tins and raising money for the club.
Free kick advantage paid. That was for high contact. Goodman. 2-on-2 here, and well, he just... I can't stop talking about how often he does that, Ethan Phillips. He's the intercept mark king of the Smithies VFL. He seems to just do it with ease. That's why he got his chance at the top level not too long ago.
Fifth of the game so far.
So Boyd going out in the direction of Young. Right now getting his shot on an AFL list is Flynn Young. Much like Phillips did do with the Hawks. High ball. And a few players underneath this. Perhaps shoved out of it late there was Harvey. It's clean ball Coughlin. And it just got away in the end. It's going to be a boundary throw in. It got away from Josh Hamilton.
Been in that situation before, I think many footballers have, where they're trying to paddle it to their advantage and get a clean grab at it, and he just couldn't quite. Just that perceived pressure enough. Throw in. Harvey losing out to Collins, but Hogg wins the clearance for the Blues. Kick inside the 50. Young going back with courage. Couldn't take the mark. King goes to concede ground into the path of Lucas Camporelli. Just overruns it in the end, and now the Bullants can take advantage. Franks marks it in the middle. Gives it off. Chance now for Lee Flang. Kick towards half forward. They've got a bit of space here to work with. Donegan will present it centre half forward. Couldn't quite take the mark. Follows up. Gives it to Fairley. Shoots from 40 metres and misses to the right. Minor score, but that was better. At least they showed a bit of conviction and a bit of dare in that passage of play. They're just not kicking accurately at the moment.
I don't know what's going on at this end. So the Bullants kicked 1-4 in the first quarter to the city end of the ground. Carlton in the second quarter kicked 5 goals, 7. Here in the third quarter, the Bullants are 1 goal, 5 at the right of screen. We can't figure it out because there's barely any breeze out there today. Boyd going to the outer side. Young has it. Did walk it at halftime. Damien end to end, just trying to figure out what the breeze might be doing. Luke Valasaris did point to the right of screen after winning the toss, and the majority of the scoring has been to that end of the ground, but it's not because of any breeze that we're able to pick up on. Outer side, free kick for the Bullants. This is Emery. Very short ball. Taylor will go onto the right boot. Schreiber underneath. Jorgensen as well goes over his head. And that's probably, of all the intercept marks that Ethan Phillips has taken, that's probably the easiest of the day. He was in the right spot. Jorgensen out of position. And there's a mistake. Duffy. Recovered well though, O'Farrell. Needing to combine with Duffy, 2-on-2. Bullants had numbers and they do get the turnover. Donegan sending it goalward. Boyd taking it.
Well, I had a bit of conviction about it again. The Bullants good pressure applied, just again not converting, and that was a gettable chance for Donegan on the run. Wasn't massively under pressure. Boyd, look at this. O'Farrell meters in the clear, takes the mark at left half back. He's happy just to conserve his energy. Jordan Boyd up to 22 disposals now, matching Velasaris. He'll have 23 to his name now. Leading possession winner on the ground. He goes short to Monahan. He's had a few moments in this game where he's been a bit of a linkage player. Roam between half forward and half back. Monahan called to play on. Goes long down the line. Harvey will be the target here. Gets to the front spot. Good mark against Collins. Probably won that duel when they've been one-on-one today. Stevens, hand pass. Badar. Now Camporelli of the Bev variety. Did well. Remain composed. Badar again. Hand pass to Monahan. Back to Camporelli. Ben Camporelli inside the 50. Finds Hogg. Camporelli and Hogg combining. That's music to the ears of Carlton fans old and new. And Hogg could line up from 38 metres out directly in front.
Touched on it in the first half. I really like Darcy Hogg's forward craft. I really, really do. He's going for his second today. I don't know if you can hear any effects, Mike. It's Mark Pitnet absolutely screaming at someone in the middle of the ground. He's on the bench right now, Pitnet. I don't know if our effects Mike was picking that up there, Damien, but if you heard someone screaming in the distant background, it was Mark Pitnet screaming at someone, I think, to come off and get him back on. Anyway, it's Hogg having his shot.
And he nails it. Good kick from Darcy Hogg. He's got his second. Just reward for his efforts today. And after all of the labouring for the Bullants, Carlton managed to get it to the other end and score a major. It's a psychological blow more than anything else. The margin now at 50, 10-11 to 2-9.
Believe it or not, he's the first multiple goal kicker on the grounds here today.
He'd have to be in contention, wouldn't he? Look, I know there's been periods where we haven't seen him all that much for 5 to 10 minutes, but it's more than just the possessions. I think his endeavour around the contest, the physical pressure he's created on the ball when he's been on the ball, has been very good. And you mentioned that forward craft as well. He's a pretty versatile player in that respect.
Yeah, I don't have his size numbers on me. Maybe you do, Damien. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I really like his forward craft. He's a smart player inside forward 50. Bullants looking to get something going the other way. Andronako, again, it goes over the head of Jorgensen. How is it going to fall? It's Ryan trying to extract it. Blues get back there in numbers. Monahan with the tackle on Ryan. Just kind of shimmed it in the end. It didn't go far. Velasaris ducking, weaving, then kicking. And it bounces in for yet another Northern Bullants behind. 2-10 for the day. And for this quarter, it's 1-7.
14 possessions for Hogg, along with 2 goals. It's a pretty good return so far.
1-6, I should say.
Boyd to bring it back in. He chips it short. Wilson. He's been a key possession winner for the Blues. Coming up for number 20 now. No, he's done a lot of the kicking in as well, which has to be taken into consideration. Same with Boyd as well when you look at that statistical element. Wilson under pressure here. Franks tried to corral him. Short kick is okay. Boyd again inside the defensive 50 for the Blues. Building up patiently here. They lead it by 49 points. Chip pass to Wilson, back to Boyd. They work well in tandem. Kick towards centre wing. Pitnet caught behind this time. Collins got to the front, had his arms chopped. And I think he's going to get the free kick. So Collins had to labour very intensively today. Sells a bit of candy and then drills it inside the 50. Good delivery to Jorgensen. That was a bullet-like pass. He's taken it on the chest and he is capable from here around the arc. Johnny Jorgensen. He'll line up for his second of the day. He's had an opportunity earlier in the quarter. This one certainly better from a degree of difficulty perspective. He's almost directly in front.
Yeah, this is the easiest set shot that he's had today. 1-1 from the previous couple.
It's been their main contributor on the scoreboard this season. 20 for 2025 so far from 48 metres out. And he drills it. The big man's done it for the Bullants. He's got his second. Breathes a bit of life into his side. And after a run of outs in terms of scoring, they finally get a major on the board. It's their third for the game. They're 3-10. Carlton at 10-11.
So 16 touches for John Luke Valasaris, has 4 clearances to go with a couple of intercept possessions as well. Connor Leaflang has 13, Emery has 13. Damien, am I reading the wrong stats?
I think it hasn't refreshed on the page. It's the old Wi-Fi here at Preston.
My Wi-Fi's let me down on my laptop. Damien, what are the up-to-date numbers?
So Boyd's had 27, Valasaris up to 23, Wilson with 22, and Fairley's had 17 touches for the Bullants. Harry Charlson also with 17 for the Blues.
I think I was reading out stats that were up-to-date up to half-time. Apologies for that.
A bit of a warning here in the middle of the ground.
Just getting my laptop back up to date. We're good to go. 27 for Jordan Boyd.
So a 43-point margin. Looks a bit more respectable now for a Bullants point of view. I suppose the coaching staff, the mindset of not wanting to lose by 150, which we saw on a few occasions last year via secondary ball up in the middle. Do you think that might be on their mind, or might have been on their mind in the second term, to try and conserve as much of the scoring as possible away from the opposition, or just trying to think from their point of view as to why they played a very defensive brand?
Well, they have been all day. I'm not sure it was a second quarter thing necessarily as well. Evans going into the sky, and it takes a Carlton bounce. Emery does get there. Got tackled quickly by Stevens. It's Young over the top of the ball. What's the help, though? Not much. Goodman similarly had nowhere to take that ball. Umpire's letting this go for a while. Now we get the stoppage called for. So Carlton get North Melbourne next week. Bullants get a bye.
A good test for the Blues.
Yep, ball to be thrown up. Kangas have been okay in the Smithies VFL. Free kick here for the Bullants. It's been given to Jaden Collins.
Just on the Kangaroos, I noticed Robert Hanson Jr. making a bit of an impact last night. Been in the VFL for a while in that lineup. And we'll have a throw-in on centre wing. So it's interesting seeing some players getting their chance at AFL level. Didn't have a massive amount of possessions, but he was electrifying certain instances last night. It just goes to show, if you ply your trade enough in the Smithies VFL, with exposure against senior bodies, it could stand you in good stead. Throw in. Pitnet wins it down. Andronako was besieged. Hogg. Quick hand pass to Wilson. Ben Camporelli back to Hogg. Back to Wilson. They stream through in numbers and in waves through the corridor. Wilson goes long towards Harvey. Couldn't quite take the mark. Follows up well the big man. Still Harvey. Madden on his hammer. It heads towards the boundary line. Numbers are with the Bullants here. It's a chance for Emery to clear. But again, directionless with the kick straight down the throat of Charlson. There was no one home for the Bullants. Short pass is okay. This man has a good boot on him. Young. He's capable from here. 62 metres out. That was a floater. A munger off the boot. Mark taken there by Lee Flang. He'll go laterally. Now the Bullants are away off half-back through Hamilton.
Driver going beyond the wing. Phillips was not really interested in keeping that ball alive, and rightly so. A bit of push and shove between O'Farrell and Luke Ryan. Ball handed back to the boundary umpire, right near the Bullants bench.
Good to see Ray Shaw here. Of course, a Collingwood champion, but there's a background with the Preston Footy Club, of course, in the old VFA.
Throwing fell short, Pitnet again, grabbing out of the ruck. He's been doing that all day. Ben Camporelli, and that's going to be picked off by Leaflang. And he does not know where to go with it.
No one's really presenting. They're just sort of standing still.
Hilton. Similar situation for him. No clear targets. Jorgensen is asking for it long. I think you have to. What else are you going to do? Jorgensen just goes over his head. Fairly out the back. Look at the space up forward potentially here. Blues closing in quickly though. Phillips intercepting again. Hand pass going out wide. Lucas Camporelli to Ben. Not sure he meant to pick out Ben there, but it all worked out for the Camporelli boys. Half forward left lane, couldn't mark it. Evans, he's got a good boot as well. Drills it, goal. And it bounces through. 2 goals for Frankie Evans.
Kept it low trajectory, didn't he? Unguarded square. Good anticipation there from Evans. And another one for the Blues. Again, they surge it forward. How many times have we seen them run in waves in numbers? 3 at a time. When they work it forward, it's just intimidating for the opposition. Bit of a push and shove behind play. Phillips having a bit of a dig there at Luke Ryan, who's on debut for the Bullants today. Bit of frustration creeping in for the Northern Bullants as well. They've had to toil hard in this quarter, created a few opportunities for themselves and just been let down. An easy transition up the other end and a couple of goals for the Blues in the last probably 5 or so minutes. So the margin, after all of that, back out to 49. 11-11 to 3-10. On the cusp of three-quarter time here. Pitnet wins it down. Schreiber tries to latch on the loose footy. He's been good in this third term with his endeavour. Still he paddles it forward. Good endeavour from Schreiber. Hacks it inside the 50. Franks in front. Tries to palm it down. Jorgensen bypassed the footy. Franks maybe came off the shin or the top of the knee there as he tried to grab it. Throw in. Good pressure there from Lucas Camporelli as well, just to ensure that there would be a stoppage of some type.
So the Bullants have 8 hitouts for the day, Damien. Mark Pitnet's got 33, and Dane Harvey's got 5 for Carlton. 38 to 8 is the hit-out count here. What's umpire seen? Holding, I think, and he's paid the free kick to the Bullants.
Against Pitnet by the looks of it. Jorgensen just remonstrating with him, and it'll be Fairley to take it.
Another one that accumulates here for the Bullants. He's got 24 touches and 6 clearances on average this year. Hasn't done much in front of goal, just 2 goals for. And no option to pass it off. Good term all around for the Bullants. That one's going to miss. They showed some good signs. It was a 2-goal apiece quarter.
3-11-29. Can the Bullants gain a bit of pride in this final term? Back in the middle, Pitnet wins it down. Velasaris, quick hand pass to Donegan. Collins, they combine well through the middle. Schreiber sweeps it over the top. Chance now trying to break the tackle is Sherry. Wilson did well to grab him, holding the ball. Just a bit overzealous there. And Wilson has been very good today. He's got it at centre half back coming up for possession number 25. Only Jordan Boyd has more disposals on the ground. Wilson drives it towards half forward in the Pitnet direction. And he's outmarked. Well done there by Lee Flang, who's got it at left half back for the Ants. They've manned up pretty well, Carlton, trying to stifle the Bullants' exits out of defensive 50. Kick by Lee Flang towards Collins. O'Farrell flies. Couldn't take the mark. Vickery sharking the pack. Did well to get the hand pass away. Jorgensen. Quick give. Donegan. Now Schreiber again. Hacks it on the boot. That's gone to the outside of the boot. Will it stay in play? That's a good mark from Franks on the slide. 60 metres out from home for the Bullants. Carlton have congested that area. Kick by Franks towards full forward. Big fly, no mark paid. Fairley tries to sling it out. Wilson's there. Was it a throw that's been called here? It's a free kick going the way of the Bullants. Good pressure applied. Fairley getting involved again. And ultimately, he should have the set shot here and should be able to nail it directly in front. Only about 28 metres out. Well, he missed a set shot in the third term, which was far more difficult than this. Usually a pretty good kick of the footy. This would be the ideal start to the final term for the Northern Bullants to give them a bit of life. Fairley splits the middle. They've got the first of the last quarter and the margin back to 42 points. 11-11 to 4-11. A good kick from Fairley, and a couple of times the Bullants firstly out of the centre from the first bounce of the quarter, and then on that passage of play as well, moving with a bit of vigour and a bit of zest with a few leakages via hand, just intimidating the opposition.
So the Bullants have kicked 3 of the last 5 now, starting to just have a little resurgence here. This is a matchup that will mean a little bit more to the Bullants. And the margin right now is 42.
Remember they had that
goal toward Kramer Street as well, by the way.
Sorry, Adam, I was just going to say, remember they had that big win where they came from the clouds against Collingwood on this ground last year in wet conditions when scoring was hard to come by?
Yeah, it's held off the rain, which is good, but that centre wicket area does get chopped up pretty easily here. Ball sent out wide. Bullants on a bit of a surge right now. This is Fairley for Donegan. 2 kicks from home. Donegan. Jorgensen. How many times today has Jorgensen seen the ball go over his head? Wow, it has happened a lot. It was Evans that was waiting in behind, going short to Hogg. We've liked his game inside forward 50. This time he's inside defensive 50. Monahan wants to go quickly. Camporelli for Vickery. Had time to load up onto the left. Decided not to shoot. Lemmy getting front position eventually.
Oh, that was a great mark, wasn't it? He had to be a little bit like a contortionist there just to weave his body around to be in a position to take it on the second bite. And that was a good grab, utilising his height. And this would be a psychological blow because the Bullants would have come out steaming in this final term with an early goal. And to answer pretty quickly, be damaging from a morale point of view more than anything else.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with this kick. Lemmy going for his second, and it looked like it was going to go for the goalpost. It does go in. I was going to say, the Bullants not entirely out of it. Had that goal not gone through, there might have been a tiny chance for them, but now it's 48 points, and yeah, you would expect Carlton to run away with this, but just imagine had the Bullants actually not turned it over inside that 50 a couple of minutes ago, just in the lead up to that Lemmy goal. Had the Bullants have been able to get another one, the margin was somewhat manageable.
Correct. And it creates a bit of perceived pressure. It's amazing what confidence can do and momentum can do in this game. We've seen it a number of times so far this season. Good kick from Lemmy.
It's a 12-point play. I mean, now the margin's 48. Had the goal gone the other way, it's 36, and that's psychologically so different.
Quite right. Lemmy with a couple of goals. Collins wins it down for the Bullants. Well done from Ben Camporelli. Just contemptuously rid his opponent of his grasp and kicks it long inside the 50. Evans at the back. Couldn't quite run onto it. Tapped away by Hilton. Here's a chance for Nelson. Did well to keep it in. Stevens feeds it back. Now Harvey deep in the pocket. Screws it round the corner towards the goal square. Players collide. Hogg was waiting, but the numbers are with the Bullants. Donegan runs his full distance. Takes a bounce. Evans almost caught him. Did well to get the hand pass away to Velasaris. Gets it back from Sherry in the 1-2, then has to concede ground. It's a dangerous kick. Turnover ensues. Evans deep in the pocket. Kicks towards full forward on the bounce. There's a free kick as it was grabbed onto there by Coughlin. It's going to come back.
Dumped after kicking it, Evans. It's coming back to him.
Well, it was well done from Evans to effect the turnover. Velasaris had to concede ground, and Evans was awake to that situation. He's had a good day as well. Hasn't been a massive accumulator necessarily, but he's had his moments in this game. He's kicked a couple of goals already.
He took a good mark as well in the second quarter, didn't he? I think I called it not being necessarily a specky, but it was a decent effort aerially from him.
Evans for goal number 3. Hard up against the boundary line. I tell you what, he is a dead-eye Dick in front of goals. He's got his third.
He's good from range as well. He kicked a couple of nice ones against Essendon last week from beyond the arc as well at Windy Hill. So, yeah, he likes him from range, and that time as well with the angle. Kicked it like that angle just didn't even exist. And he really kicked it, kicked through the ball as well. It was
with
really
confidence.
Yeah. It's handy. It's a handy skill set to have. He's got 3 now.
It's amazing, isn't it, with modern goal scoring these days and modern goal kicking, when the percentages are at their lowest in terms of the degree of difficulty. I mean, sometimes it's easier for players because they don't have that inherent expectation they're going to kick the goal when they're from the angle or when they're from distance. It tends to be when you're in that 30-metre radius close. But the misses do come.
So his third AFL club. He's played 38 games of AFL footy going back to 2020. Pitnet tapping down. Roving as well, Pitnet. Hogg going inside 50. It's in Lemmy territory. Andrew over the top, and Phipps Parsons will run in and kick an easy goal.
Well, he was like a cat burglar just scouting around the pack and managed to read the play pretty well, sharking the pack and waltzing into the open goal. And it's just a bit disappointing for the Bullants in the sense they started with a bit of verve in this quarter and a few goals go to the other end pretty quickly, and all of a sudden it's back out to a 10-goal ball game. So when the Blues pounce momentum-wise, they can do it pretty quickly on the score sheet as well. And You just wonder whether the body language will be effective for the Bullants as well. Saw it drop in the second term. Back in the middle, Pitnet wins it down. It'll win the clearance, Willie. Couldn't quite make contact with the footy. Velasaris with a good tackle. Got the hand pass out. Hogg with the pressure. Did well when he was outnumbered. Good tackle from Emery. Have a ball up. Bit impressed with Darcy Hogg's game today. 18 possessions and 2 goals. He's done well on the ball, but he's been pretty versatile around the ground as well. Pitnet with the hand pass out of the congestion. Here's a chance now for the Ants. Receiving is Sherry from Grace. Went through the hands there of Taylor on that occasion, but he did well to retrieve it while he was off balance. Whistle, pushing the back. He'll get the free kick. Hands it back. He's going to have to go over his mark, I think. Coghlan was waiting wistfully. So this is Liam Taylor. As I said, grandfather Alan Paris, part of the 1963 Premiership side with Preston. That's a good kick. They're almost stationary, weren't they? And Fairley takes the mark. Started off the quarter with a goal. Still capable from here, beyond the arc. So Patrick Fairley for his second within the space of 10 minutes. Gain a bit of respectability onto this board. It's been a bit of a stalwart at this level now. He's going to feign them all and go short and fools them all with a pass to Velasaris. And Jean-Luc Velasaris, well, if he could get on the score sheet with a major here, be just reward. He's their leading ball winner today, once again, for the Bullants. He averages 26 for the season. He's got 26 now. He'll come up for 27 here. Kicked a couple of behinds. He's certainly been a solid trier in this game, as he has been for the last couple of years for the Bullants. Velasaris. Deliberate approach from 40 metres out. Can he work it back? No, he can't. It fades to the right, off hands. Through for a minor score. So the margin back to 59. It's 14-11 to 4-12 here at Jenna Steel Oval.
Jordan Boyd.
Pigeons have been replaced by the Seagulls now behind the goal face.
See that, yes. Long and direct, and that ball carries a very long way. Evans with the further tap on. Lemmy gets it now.
Oh.
Coast to coast going the Blues. Hogg will go to the square, and it will be finished off again by Phipps Parsons.
Second goal from point-blank range for Phipps Parsons. Well, that was as incisive as it gets and as coast-to-coast as it gets. Through the middle, there's a long kick out of defence, which carried pretty much to the centre. And Phipps Parsons finishing off the good work, but there were about 3 players streaming in unmanned inside the 50 there for the Blues. And the Bullants, I know they broke through the zone with that long kick, Carlton, but Bullants have to be tighter in their defensive half, as that was just too easy. That was the old Hail Mary, where you just run onto the loose footy. Probably a bit of a poetic passage of play with the way the day has gone. 15-11 to 4-12. Margin at 65 points. Harvey having a go in the ruck now for the Blues. We've seen him in the ruck on a few occasions. I think he's got 8 hit-outs from memory to his name. Pitnet doing the bulk of the ruck work today. Moyer moving on the ball as well, which is interesting. Maybe Luke Power thinking he can get into the play, getting his hands on the footy. He hasn't had much of it. Kicks out of mid-air. Ricochets to Harvey. Tries to go with the chip pass, but it's intercepted. Fairly getting involved again. Hand pass is slung out by Grace. Comes out now to Ben Camporelli. Besieged upon. Charlson with the hand pass back to Nelson. Holds his composure. He's slung there by Donigan. Did well to get the hand pass away. It ends up with Ben Camporelli. And now Moyer on the outer side. Drills it to Levy at half-forward. Good grab. That was a bullet-like pass. He's got good hands, this boy. No question about that. 57 metres out from goal. He's going to wheel around here, Harry Levy, and thump it towards the goal face. Look at it go. Through for a behind. Got a big shoe on him. 15-12 now to 4-12.
This is Liam Coghlan. Hamilton. Back to the square. Game of kick-to-kick between Coghlan and Hamilton. Now joining the party is Aaron Hilton. So a lot of possessions here for the Bullants and still not escaping 50, and that is going to result in a turnover. Moya, hand pass, just got a little Bullants touch on it. Umpires hovering for a while, and we'll call for the ball up now. So the Blues are taking on North Melbourne next week in the Smithies VFL. That is a Saturday twilight game at Icon Park. The Bullants' next game will be here against Richmond, but that will be in 2 weeks from now. Got the bye next week. Candrew's kick, didn't go far. Hamilton spinning and getting away from danger, taking a bounce even. And the kick, Schreiber decided to leave it. It's going to be forced forward by Green. Andronarco one-on-one there against Boyd. It comes to ground. The hand pass coming back to Phillips. The switching ball, that was Hogg again getting involved. Phipps Parsons has kicked a couple of last quarter goals. Did fumble, had time to recover. Dozzy for Ben Camporelli. Streaming through now is Boyd. Kick going in the direction of Harvey. Got told to play on and then got pinged.
Good tackle from Donegan, one of the inclusions for the Bullants today. Oh, talk about turnover. Well done from Moya. It's like a high jumper. Tries to break the tackle. Spills free. Still no one can gain clean possession. Madden tried to get a kick out of the congestion. He applies the tackle. And we've got another ball up. 40 out from the Carlton goal. So Moya getting into the fray a little bit up the ground. Lemmy is that deep forward for the Blues. They lead it by 11 goals. Harvey winning it down. Grace gives it off. Donegan's kick smothered very decisively in the end. He'll have a second crack at it, this time by a hand to Sherry. Puts on the afterburners with a bounce. Takes on Boyd with a couple of bounces. Loops it over the top. Bit of a collision behind as he tried to give it to Jorgensen. He went without it initially. Feeds it off. Chance now for Ryan. Has to retract back. Jorgensen. Floating kick. Just hacking it inside the 50. Phillips. Quick hand pass over the head of Dozzy. Well done, Camporelli. That's of the bed variety. Giving it off. And the kick towards centre wing from King. Finds his target. This is Phipps Parsons, who's come into the game in this last quarter. Well-weighted kick. Mark taken by Badar, who chips it inside the 50 into the path of Hogg. Just couldn't quite latch onto it there. And now Goodman's away for the Bullants.
He's kicked it straight into Harvey. I don't know if he knew much about it. Moya, Harvey, immediately under pressure. Vickery to Young, left foot missing.
Kicked the first goal of the game, Flynn Young. Sort of petered out of the game, but as we know, man, really wanting to make an impression with the Blues coming across from Werribee.
Yep, the 23-year-old picked up in the mid-season draft.
Looks 15, doesn't he? That'll work in his favour.
John Luke Valasaris is coming up at disposal number 28.
More than his season average. Seen him average more, funnily enough, in seasons past. He's an accumulator at will and has been for a while now for the Northern Bullants. One of the great stages, a bit like Tom Wilson back in the day for the Bullants. If you look at more modern history, Madden, down the line he goes. Is there a bit of holding there? I think it is going to be paid. Free kick to be taken here by Lee Flang. Hoists it high towards centre wing. Couple of flyers. Frank's waited out the back. He and Boyd see it over on the Kramers Hotel side of the ground. A lot of history here at this ground. As we know, these two sides have been affiliated in the past. Rowan Welsh, of course, coach of the Bullants. Is a Carlton player. Played part of that 1993 campaign, which made it to the grand final before they were beaten by the Bombers in the AFL that year. Here's a chance for Young. Can almost kick it from here. Hands it off. Ben Camporelli streaming forward now, the Blues. Look at this. An open 50 beckons. Just has to sit here for Stevens. It went towards the pocket. Has to screw it around towards the top of the goal square. Went low. Badar couldn't take it on the half volley. And they make a mess of it, the Blues. Trying to go out on the outside of the boot there for the Bullants was Taylor. Camporelli got cleaned up. That's of the bed variety. Comes towards centre wing. Wilson to Phillips. Now Dozzy, drilling kick straight down the throat of Hamilton, and Camporelli's back up and about, which is good to see. Hamilton's got it at left half back.
This is Emery. Alisaris. This will be in this disposal number 30. Jordan Boyd's on 29. 25 for Wilson for the Blues. And they do get it back here. Carlton again. Young, left foot to an empty square. And that's going to be a goal. It is. Flynn Young has 2.
He loves those on the run. We saw it for Werribee, of course, when he was playing in Werribee colours about a month or so ago. Kicked 2 lovely long goals from about 70 metres in a game against Sandringham at the Trevor Barker Beach Oval. Taking note of the unguarded square, and he's done it again on the run here. That's his trademark. A good long kick, taking note of the vacant 50. And how many times have we seen in this last quarter the Blues with a vacant 50 to work with out the back? It's been too loose, the checking there from the Bullants defence. It's the margin a significant one now. It's going to be a cruisy win for the Blues. Still not at time on yet, so it could be a long quarter given the amount of goals that have been scored. 16-13 to 4-12. Back in the middle. Pitnet winning it down. Here's Schreiber, who's tried hard in this last quarter, but he's besieged upon. Pitnet, hand pass to Moyer. Tried to chance the arms, he loses it. Collins with a hand pass, tapped on by Goodman. Now a chance for the Ants here. Hamilton with the bounce. He goes with the hand pass inboard to Schreiber, cleaned up by Moyer. Bit overzealously. Umpire calls advantage. Here's a chance for Grace. Kick inside the 50. Big fly at the back. Good mark from Phillips. He's been sensational in that department today. Gives it off. Charlson. Kick towards centre wing. Over the head of Stevens. That was the 9th mark for Phillips as well in this game. Here's Emery causing the turnover. A bit of a scuffle behind play involving Evans and Collins. They'll get themselves up and about. Meantime, the footy's on the other side of the ground. Taylor goes short. Andronako's got it.
For Jorgensen, and that one fell too short that time. He's had many go over his head. That time, it was picked off in front of him by Farrell. He was a young blue bagger as a kid playing locally at Maribyrnong Park in EDFL, and his boyhood team picked him up in the draft. Long down the line. Lemmy getting one hand on it. Coughlin is not going to have much room there.
Doesn't happen too often, is it? Where the team you barrack for growing up picks you up. It's a special thing when it does happen.
Yeah. Or if he somehow ends up there. I know Jack Ginnivan, a Hawk growing up, obviously not drafted to Hawthorn, but there now is another example of sorts, I guess. Andronako has it.
Gave Sam Mitchell a call, didn't he, during the week?
I actually did hear a story about, I think it might have been Bob Skilton actually, who grew up, all he wanted to do was play senior footy for Port Melbourne.
His father played for Port Melbourne.
Exactly. That's all he wanted to do. He ended up down the road at South Melbourne, and we know the rest.
Well, that was an era. That was an era when the VFA players often got paid more than playing in the VFL.
So here's Valasaris, one way to the other. Another one going overhead of Jorgensen. It's an awfully frustrating day for JJ. I've lost count of how many times he's seen balls go over his head. Has got a couple of goals to his name today. Evans, unkind bounce. Andrew at the back. Spun in the tackle. Got to be careful with those spin tackles. Got to be very, very careful with those.
Do you think it requires a bit of a change in the way tackles are taught at junior level and even at senior level as well? Do you think we're getting to that point now?
The key is how necessary is it to bring players to grounds, I think, is the key change that probably needs to happen in tackling techniques and how they're taught. Wilson in the middle of the ground. Lemmy pushed off his opponent. Hamilton there, getting away from Badar. Still has it, Hamilton. Ball sent all the way back through Hilton and then Andrew. Valasaris will get another touch here. Takes it in front of Ben Camporelli. Hamilton now has it.
He's got it at right half back. 22 and a half minutes gone in this final term. Really just playing for time at the moment. 73 points the margin in favour of the Blues. A good percentage booster for them. That's a poor kick. How often have we seen that? Unforced errors from the Bullants. Boyd picks it off. Coming up for possession number 30. Been a bit of a designated kicker. How about that for a spiral? Deep inside the 50. Lemmy waiting at the back. Can't quite latch onto it, and the ball bounces out of play. Rolling out the barrel. Doing the Enderman, if you want to use a 2025 vernacular.
Yeah. That happens only down the road, of course.
Down Bell Street at Coburg, who've had a bit of a renaissance this year themselves. The Bullants can maybe look to that for a bit of inspiration. This is Andrew. Quick hand pass. Hilton feeds it back. Now the kick. Just hacked on the boot there by Coughlin. Fortuitously finds Emery. Kick to centre wing. Good slide. A mark taken there by Harrison Grace. He's got a couple of options in the corridor. He goes via hand. We'll have to get it back here from Emery. Kicks it short. Mark taken by Franks. He's got Jorgensen leading in the space. He kicks it to his advantage. This time it still goes over his head. He's like an air traffic control tower. Just everything flying over his head at the moment. Camporelli to Boyer. Now Pitnet in the middle. Hands it off to O'Farrell. Waiting for the overlap runner here. This is Vickery. Chips it. Young. He loves it from this distance range. He's got it here. He'll have to line up from beyond the arc.
He's not passing it off.
Well, if you're capable from this distance range, he's almost directly in front, and why not? Game is well and truly in their keeping. Kicked the first goal of the game, which set the tone. Then Flynn Young has kicked a couple already, coming up for possession number 12. Is making a bit of an impact in this last quarter. So Flynn Young, the distance specialist from 55 metres out. He's hooked that kick. Lemmy! You can see that one coming. Takes a good contested mark, and the big man can line it up from the pocket just to put the sauce on the sausage.
If he's not going to get his chance at Carlton, how many clubs would be lining up for a chance at Lemmy coming into their squad?
And he's got potential as well. He's got something to work with there with him. Because
there's the attributes. Yeah. I think he's got good forward craft. There's a bit there, I think.
He's had a couple of seasons under his belt at Smithy's VFL level as well. So he's had that exposure to senior bodies. Lemmy to add another to the tally. He drills it. So Lemmy with a few to his name today. He's done his job along with many others for the Blues. And that margin continues to increase. Been a good day at the office for Carlton. They've done what they've had to do. We've stood a little bit of pressure. 17-13 now to 4-12, so that margin all of a sudden out to 69 points. The Bullants would be a bit disappointed with the way things have finished off for them. They kicked the first goal of the last quarter through fairly. Gave them a little bit of a sniff, but the Blues have just piled on the goals since. Just run out the game far better.
Yep. So it'll be a week off coming up for the Bullants. Carlton will get a 6-day break going into a home game against North Melbourne. Good bounce to restart play. Harvey got a hand on it, but the Bullants will get the clearance. Grace toward Jorgensen. Again, it's going to fall well short this time. Bader got the hand pass out into some space. Looking away was Stevens. Good use of the ball so far by Carlton. It's Ben Camporelli who will drive inside 50. Difficult one there. Young has done okay, though. Actually trapped it pretty well. Then around the corner he goes, and another chance at goal for Lemmy.
He's getting the front spot. Kicked 3 goals already today. Should nail this one, even though the angle can be a little bit fickle here. As we've said, he's done his job. Kicked 3 goals too so far.
Similar spot from the previous one. Similar outcome. Is there a risk of this one going into 3 figures? It's 85 points now.
There you go. They really have careered away. So 121 playing 36. Amazing how that margin has just grown and accentuated over time in this last quarter. The Bullants did get back to within around that 40-point mark early in the term. And it's just blown out since. You've just got to learn to run out games. There's been a problem for the Bullants this year. They've had reasonable starts. Their first quarter records have been pretty good so far this year, but after quarter time, they've just fallen away, particularly late in the game. We saw that against GWS as well. The Schreiber is gang tackled to the ground.
Yeah. I think it's been a theme this year as well, especially a lot of the games that I seem to have seen an AFL Alliance team against a standalone one where the standalones are really struggling to keep up with the AFL Alliance sides, the conditioning and all of those things that you would expect physically, hurting the standalones.
Nelson to chip it inside the 50. Why not? This man's been on the end of a couple of passes, no doubt about that. He can have a set shot here. I speak, of course, of Phipps Parsons. He's kicked a couple of goals in this last quarter.
And it's something that doesn't always happen because we know there's been, we've seen Werribee win a flag recently as a standalone. Williamstown, Port Melbourne, Southport's made multiple grand finals, all the standalones. It's not always the case that they run over the top. It's just a theme this year, I think.
On the siren for the cream on the cake. Phipps Parsons for his third. He misses to the left. It's all just academic. The Blues prevail in convincing fashion here at Jenner Steel Oval against their old alliance, the Northern Bullants. It's Carlton 18-14, 122, defeating the Northern Bullants 4-12-36 in pretty comprehensive fashion. It was an 86-point